What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video on Lex Selectors. Today I'm doing a video which took me over a month to make because I've had to look at over 150 different videos to actually make this video happen. So last year I did a video of myself versus FIFA. If all of our score predictions came true, what would the championship table look like? Well, let's say in a parallel universe I get all of my score predictions correctly, and in another parallel universe FIFA gets their score predictions correct. Well, we're going to see what two different types of championship tables we're going to see, and you're going to tell me which one do you think was the best and which one was the worst. So Man vs Machine Part 2 is back on this channel. If you guys like what we see, please give the video a like. Please do hit the subscribe button if you've not done so. It does really help. It will be appreciative considering how long this video took me. And please share this video as well to as many people as you can. All of that helps too. But without any further ado, let's delve straight in who has done the best out of their predictions this year. So my table's on the left hand side, FIFA's is going to be on the right hand side. Let's go and do this. Starting out in 24th place, I predicted Birmingham, which I'm very annoyed with myself that I predicted Birmingham to finish this low. I just never predicted Birmingham for a win. I mean, obviously I did at some point, but I barely gave them a chance, which I was quite surprised. Out of all the 24 teams, it was Birmingham, the team that I didn't really give much of a chance to. FIFA's gone for Derby, and I dare say FIFA's actually had a better prediction there because they're only one position wrong with Derby. And by the way, I am including the points deduction for 21 points deduction for Derby and the 6-point deductions for Reading. So please do keep that in mind when I'm putting these two teams in these two tables here. So Derby have had 21-point deduction. They end on 34 points, which actually, to be fair to them, is actually the same amount of points that they managed to end in the season in the actual championship. So FIFA did quite well. The problem is that they obviously gave all the other teams above just too many points in the end. 23rd, I predicted Peterborough, which is not a terrible prediction by me. 26 points though they got, so that's quite a way off. They are 11 points better off than what they are in real life, really. Barnsley in 23rd is actually a decent prediction as well from FIFA 22 on 45 points, which I think is way too many wins and points for Barnsley, but despite that, it ends them in 22nd place. So I've got to say, and I hate to say it so far, but FIFA's kicking my arse at the moment. They're doing quite well. So out of their first two picks being only one position off, FIFA's doing quite well. Now for 22nd, this has only happened twice in all of our tables. We've only agreed for two teams to actually be in the same position, and Hull City is one of those teams. We both predicted them to finish in 22nd place if all of our score predictions came true over the season. So I predicted them in the end to have 28 points with a minus 37 goal difference. I mean, goal difference is a little bit harsh for me, and they of course ended on 51 points. So yeah, I got this one a little bit wrong, and same with FIFA. I mean, to be fair, they actually did much better in terms of points. I mean, 48 points is a little bit too much, I would dare say. But weirdly enough, if you had 48 points, you actually would have finished real life in 19th place in the championship, which is where Hull City finished. So FIFA did quite well despite getting them wrong by 3 positions. So now we're out of the bottom 3. 21st place, I predicted Barnsley. So I'm a bit annoyed that Barnsley were outside of the relegation zone. I mean, because they had the same amount of points as Hull, but their goal difference was slightly better than Hull, so they do survive in my table if all of my score predictions came true on 28 points, minus 3, positions wrong there. Now, this is one of a few interesting ones so far. FIFA predicted Swansea to finish in 21st, which, to be fair, I think at the start of the season was not a bad prediction, but then FIFA didn't really give Swansea too many wins when they were going through their really good second half phase. 20th place, I went for Reading, so one position off once again. Barnsley and Reading very, very close, very tiny margins, especially in that bottom 5 so far in the table. I mean, to be fair, looking at this, apart from Derby, I've actually got the bottom 5 to bottom 6 spot on. It's just in the wrong position. FIFA, however, has had its first clanger of the day, predicting Blackburn Rovers to finish in 20th place. And this is not going to be one of the last times where FIFA's had a bit of a clanger. So I'm now back in there. I think I'm actually now doing alright. I think FIFA had a great start, but the wheels are kind of falling off with FIFA's table now. 20th place Blackburn. I mean, that is a little bit similar where I actually predicted them to finish at the start of the season before a ball was kicked. But obviously I learned very, very quickly with how good Ben Brereton Diaz was, Rita Kadra, Joe Rothwell, Tyrese Dolan, those players who would pop up at times. So obviously, Blackburn was a little bit wrong by FIFA 22's part there. So 19th place, I went for Derby. And 19th place for FIFA is Luton Town. So Derby, those 33 points is actually including their 21 points deduction, which is, strangely enough, it's actually still less points than what the last place is with FIFA 21. What I will say with FIFA 21's table, I think for how the points are spread out is a bit more of a realistic table, potentially. And you'll see later on what I'm talking about, especially when I'm predicting the top 6 in my table at least. But Derby in 19th place, I don't think is an awful prediction by my part. And maybe predicted one too many wins for them, considering with all the other points I've done for the rest of those teams. But regardless, it's not that bad, only 4 positions off. Luton 19th, I don't even know why. I think just Luton have got a bad luck charm with FIFA. That's all I can say of that. FIFA's going to have to own that mistake. They're 13 places wrong here. 18th place, I predicted Bristol City, and FIFA predicted Coventry to finish in 18th place. So you can clearly see which one has done better there. It'll be me again. So only to get Bristol City wrong by 1 place. Frustrating I didn't get it right, and that was the same with my original prediction as well, although I predicted them in 16th place, but I was always 1 position off with Bristol City. With Coventry 18th place, I mean, they never looked like 18th place, didn't they? They just were above and beyond that. So FIFA, once again, a bit similar for what I said with Luton, I just don't think gave Coventry the respect they deserved and gave them like a really good luck charm. And what I will say, there's a lot of variables with FIFA, because some weeks live form was on, live form was switched off, difficulties changed as well. So we're never ever going to get a properly accurate FIFA setup. But for that, I did simulate all the games for FIFA 21-22 season on FIFA this year. I've now got a somewhat representative, you know, in terms of what they think the table will look like if every game was played. So 17th place Cardiff for me. I'm so annoyed because had Bristol City and Cardiff swapped around, that would have been 2 correct positions, and I've still not got a team in the exact correct position yet. They went for Blackpool in 17th, which they did really well with FIFA, gotta say. So they had a couple of clangers to start things off, but now they've recovered with their 3rd team to be only wrong by 1 position. So both of us doing decent predictions in that position off the table. Now 16th place is the first team I actually got in the correct position with all of my score predictions. Blackpool in 16th, and they finished in 16th. And FIFA, on the other hand, they predicted Millwall in 16th. So I see this as a huge win for me so far in terms of these 2 tables. I think you've got to realise how difficult it is, well, for one to even look back at all of your predictions, top up all of the points and goal difference, and then for still to have a team in the correct position. There's an element of luck involved, but almost a very small element of skill as well, because obviously I've not predicted every single Blackpool game correctly, you know, for a start. They're on 52 points, and they were not on 52 points, in fact they're on 60 points, so they're 8 points worse off, but in the circumstances of the table, I got it spot on, so I'm really pleased about that there. Millwall in 16th for FIFA, very poor for them, 7 positions wrong, and it's not looking like it's going to get any better for them. It will get better for me though, because I predicted another team in the correct position, Swansea, to finish in 15th place, also on 52 points, but their goal difference is better than Blackpool's. So that's 2 correct teams. So I didn't actually get any correct positions, but like buses, 2 come at once, and now I've got 2 in a row. So I'm really, really encouraged with this at the moment now. FIFA predicted Preston, which I think is a decent shout, to be fair. Only 2 positions wrong, they found themselves out with 58 points. And I've got to say, look how tight it is in FIFA's table. The points are very few and far between, and in fact, I'll exclusively tell you now, guys, that between 24th and 1st place, the gap is only 38 points. So that is absolutely outrageous for a league season to even be that close from top to bottom. And I've got to say, Preston, I think, was a decent prediction. Speaking of Preston, the position above that, 14th, is where I predicted Preston to finish, with all of my score predictions did come true. Only 1 position wrong, so I was denied 3 correct positions in a row by 1 point. That's a bit devastating on that part. FIFA went for Birmingham, which, to be fair, is a little bit more of a respectable position for Birmingham, but somehow FIFA did worse at predicting Birmingham than I did, because they got them 6 places wrong, whereas I've only got them 4 places wrong. So I still feel bad for all the Birmingham fans that just watched all my score predictions videos and give them no chance. So I guess I was the closest to getting them right, but I definitely need to up my game with Birmingham next year. FIFA didn't really get that right. I was very, very close. A little bit gutted about that one. The place above, once again, 1 position off because I predicted Coventry. I tell you what, I'm actually really happy with this table, but it really could have been absolutely unbelievable. So by 1 point, Coventry edged up against Preston there, and in the real life table, you know, they were actually on the same amount of points on 64 points, but Coventry edged them on goal difference in that front there. And they did edge Preston on goal difference in my one as well. But FIFA has predicted Nottingham Forest to finish in 13th place. I mean, there's so much wrong with that. I can't even just list all of the things that was wrong with it. That's 9 positions wrong. So from FIFA having a pretty decent start, it really has, I've got to elaborate, the wheels have fallen off. It doesn't help with the top half either. Whilst I predicted Stoke, which I don't know how I feel about that one. It's only 2 places wrong, so I guess it's a positive in that front. But FIFA's predicted Sheffield United to finish in 12th place if all of their score predictions came true. There was so many polarising results, so I'm not too surprised we're now starting to get this weird and bizarre and wonderful table that we're seeing from FIFA 21 and 22 right now. Sheffield United 12th, I mean, midpoint in the season that would have been spot on, but unfortunately not at game 46. So up to 11th now, Millwall is the team I predicted in 11th if all of my predictions came true. 2 places out again, so close again, but not quite there. FIFA did quite well, to be fair. They predicted West Brom to finish in 11th, and I've got to say, West Brom had an awful start for FIFA, but they actually really picked up their form near the end of the season, so FIFA kind of getting a good idea that West Brom were going to struggle this year, but they just got it in the wrong part of the season. So they finished in 11th on 59 points in the end, and in the end West Brom actually finished with 67, so they did finish with a better points return, but only 1 position now. So I've got to say, FIFA has managed to recover it a little bit there. 10th place, I predicted Blackburn Rovers, that's 2 positions out. So once again, really, really close. And I gave them 67 points. Blackburn didn't quite get 67 points, but Blackburn got 69. So I was only 2 points off getting Blackburn's points total absolutely spot on. So I'm actually quite pleased with that. They predicted Huddersfield to finish in 10th place. So FIFA 21 and 22 didn't really get that right at all. So that is a good 7 positions wrong there. If that was bad, you got to see what they predicted next. So I predicted QPR to finish in 9th place, which, yeah, once again, maybe a bit too much. I definitely gave QPR a lot of wins near the start of the season. And then even in the second half, I was a bit reluctant to get QPR to lose. But then right at the end of the season, when they had their long winless run, that's when I started, you know, pushing QPR down where they needed to be. But if you look at what FIFA 21-22 predicted, they predicted Peterborough to finish in 9th place. I tell you this, I remember talking through my FIFA videos saying, people love giving Peterborough some wins, and now you can see the evidence. 60 points, which is nearly double the amount of points they actually got in the real life championship season. That is 13 positions wrong. I mean, it is their joint worst prediction so far because them and Luton are both wrong by 13 places. 8th place, I predicted Huddersfield, so even if my score predictions came true, Huddersfield wouldn't be in the top 6. And I've got to say, when I was totting up the points, I was so frustrated because a lot of the times when Huddersfield actually picked up some very clutch wins, I just predicted draws, just never a win for Huddersfield. It was only like in the final 4 or 5 games where I started having more faith in Huddersfield to get wins over the line. But by that time, the gap was just way too big to cut from the teams above from that. FIFA predicted Stoke to finish in 8th place, so, and I gotta say, that's actually the same goal difference as Peterborough, but the reason why Stoke are above Peterborough is because they actually scored more goals. I also must say, with Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United winning FIFA 21 and 22, I forgot to say, Sheffield United are above Forest because they also scored more goals than Nottingham Forest as well. So now we made it to the top 7. My 7th place team was Luton Town. I was this close getting Luton Town spot on with my predictions. I'm a bit disappointed with that. But FIFA had predicted Cardiff. That is an awful prediction on their part. 11 spaces wrong. Is actually not their worst prediction so far. I was only 1 position out, and to be fair, looking at the team above, I was 4 points off giving Luton Town my top 6 place in my table at least. But giving them 73 points, you know, was only 2 points short from what they got in real life. So once again, I nearly matched their season spot on there. 2 points out and 1 position off. So that's a real shame for me. I nearly got Luton spot on. 6th place for me was West Brom. Now this one was my one of my worst. So FIFA did a pretty good job predicting West Brom were going to have a tough season. Me, on the other hand, despite Steve Bruce going in, there was like a good couple of times where I didn't predict West Brom to win, but I didn't anticipate for it to really fall down the drain as much as it did, and I was still occasionally giving West Brom a win now and again. As you can see, 77 points. I mean, to be fair with the points, it's not that far away. It's only 10 points better off, really. At the start of the season, I gave West Brom 9 wins in a row. So 27 of those points came in their first 9 games. So I definitely was at the start, I think, feeling a bit confident about with West Brom, but definitely didn't think that the Championship was going to be a challenge. Bristol City 6th for FIFA is not great either. 11 places wrong for that as well. Both 7-side clubs wrong by 11 places there. Bristol City was another one with Peterborough that I mentioned that FIFA do love giving results for. And we've seen the evidence there. 62 points they managed to end with this season. And to be fair, in real life, they got 55. So actually only 7 points off. So points-wise, FIFA didn't do a bad job. But position-wise, couldn't be more wrong, really, to be honest. Now, 5th place is the next team I got correctly in the correct position. Sheffield United, 83 points and a correct position. They didn't get 83 points, of course. Sheffield United got 75 points in the end. But the fact I got them in the correct position, I'm really happy. And FIFA got Bournemouth in 5th place, which I was a bit surprised with, to be honest. FIFA, now and again, were really giving Bournemouth quite a hard time. Really inconsistent team they were. You know, you'd find 2 wins and then followed by 2 defeats with Bournemouth. So, yeah, it was very, very interesting to look at it. But FIFA got them wrong by 3 places. 4th place, once again, it's another time I got 2 correct positions in a row. Nottingham Forest in 4th place, I actually got spot on. And I got to thank Hull City for this. Had they not drawn against Hull City on the final day, I would have been 1 position off. FIFA has predicted Middlesbrough to finish in 4th place, which is a pretty decent-ish kind of result. It's better for what I've done. You'll see why I predicted Middlesbrough in a minute. But that's 3 places wrong. 63 points they predicted that Middlesbrough would get, which is 7 points short. So I've got to say, FIFA, whilst they've shared the points quite well, they've definitely not given a load of points in terms of the top 7 part of the table. So that, I think, is the period of the table where they got quite wrong. And they've not really shown much of a class there. They've kind of really made every single team from 1 to 24 looking like that they can beat each other, which I guess is good for competitiveness, but it's not entirely realistic, unfortunately. So then for 3rd place, I predicted Middlesbrough, which is 4 positions wrong, which is my joint worst prediction, really, because that is the 4th time I'm in my whole table where I've got a team wrong by 4 places. FIFA has gone for QPR, which actually I will say I'd rather have Middlesbrough in 3rd than QPR 3rd, because obviously FIFA got that wrong by 8 places. So my problem is just, once again, too much faith with Neil Warnock at the start. With Wilder going in, I expected them to really have some promotion form. And I didn't really anticipate that with the pressure of the playoffs that they would buckle under that pressure. I just still thought Middlesbrough were going to be the really experienced team and cope for that. But I really didn't. I really underestimated that. QPR 3rd for FIFA. I mean, they were a late bloomer. They actually had a pretty poor start, but then they managed to spike up and had some really good form near the end of the season. So then for 2nd and 1st place, I'm going to show both together. We both agreed that Fulham finished 1st, but as you can see, it couldn't be any more different to what we predicted in 2nd place. So I predicted Bournemouth to finish in 2nd, which is the correct position. So that's another 2 correct positions on my part. So to get 6 correct positions is actually 1 more team I correctly predicted than last year when I did this video. So I'm really pleased with the progress I've shown with my predictions. But FIFA, what on earth is this? Reading 2nd place, and that is with their 6-point deduction. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen. If Reading had not got their 6 points deduction, Reading Football Club would be promoted as champions to the Premier League according to FIFA 22. They got that very, very wrong. 19 places wrong, 68 points. I mean, that is bad within itself. That is over 27 points more than what they got. 9 wins, too many, to be honest. That's pretty much what that is. I mean, I'm happy with getting Fulham and Bournemouth right, but if you look at the points, 102 for Bournemouth and 112 for Fulham, so didn't really get their points correctly there. But what's important is about the positions, and I've got to say, with the positions, I'm quite proud of that. So I think I've done the best table there, but guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below about both of our tables there. Would you say FIFA 22 has gotten a more realistic table in terms of points, or do you think I've done a better job actually predicting of what the teams did over the course of a whole season? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, if you do know any other YouTubers that predict every single game week of the Championship, encourage them to do this video, because I think whilst it takes a long time to make, they'll get a real kick to see how they've done throughout the season. But guys, I'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. This video did take me a long time to make, so a like and a subscribe would be fantastically appreciative for this channel. And please also share this channel to as many people as you can. All of that helps too. But that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary for signing in this video. As always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.